Section 7.7, the second part, let's just do a quick review of the FOIL method. If we're going to do the first, that's 2x squared. The outside is a 10x, the inside is a 3x, and the last is 15. So that's 2x squared plus 13x plus 15. Now, I started you off again on example 3a when we have the pull in the deck. Each side of the deck, there's a side on each side, so you have to add and get 2x plus the 20. And then on the width side, you have to add each side of the deck. So that's 2x plus 15. And you do the FOIL method, and there it is. Look at example B. If the deck was 25 feet long, the pool was 25 feet long, and the deck is x feet, that would be 2x plus 25, and the width is 20, so the width would be 2x plus 20, and you do the FOIL method and multiply it out. Number 2, when we find the product, we have a binomial times a trinomial. We're going to have to do the distributive property. So we're going to multiply 6x times 2x squared. Make your little rainbows. That really does help. And you get 12x cubed. And then we're going to multiply 6x times a negative 3x and get negative 8x squared. And then 6x times a negative 5 and get negative 30x. Now we're going to multiply 5 times everything and get 10x squared. 5 times a negative 3x is a negative 15x. And 5 times a negative 5 is a negative 25. Combine like terms. I don't have anything to combine the 12x cubed with, so I'm going to bring it down. Negative 18x squared and a positive 10 is a negative 8x squared. Negative 30x and a negative 15 is a negative 45x. I don't have anything to combine the 25 with, so I bring it down. Example B, again, I'm going to do the distributive property. 3x times 2x squared is 6x cubed. 3x times 7x is 21x squared. Be careful about your x's. And 3x times a negative 8 is a negative 24x. Then we're going to multiply negative 5 times everything. That's negative 10x squared. Negative 35x. And a positive 40. Be very careful. Negative 8 times a negative 5 is a positive 40. I don't have anything to combine the 6x cubed with, so I bring it down. 21x squared and a negative 10 is a positive 11x squared. Negative 24 and a negative 35 is a negative 59x. Bring down the plus 40. In example C, it's a trinomial times a trinomial. So basically you're doing the distributive property 3 times. So you got to write real carefully. 2y squared times 3y squared is 6y to the 4th. Then 2y squared times a negative 5. Now make sure your eyes focus on those two. That's a negative 10. Y to the 2nd times y is a y to the 3rd. Plus 4y squared. Okay, now we're going to multiply 3y times everything. That's 9y cubed. 3y times a negative 5y is a negative 15y squared. Plus 6y. Okay, now I'm going to multiply negative 1 times everything. So that's a negative 3y squared. I'm running out of room. Plus 5y squared. Plus 5y. And then minus 2. Combine like terms. I don't have anything to combine 6y to the 4th with. Negative 10y cubed and positive 9y cubed is a negative 1y cubed. 4y squared and a negative 15y squared is a negative 9y squared. And a negative 3y squared is a positive 4y squared and a negative 15 is a negative 11. And negative 3 is a negative 14y to the 2nd. 6y and 5y is 11y minus 2. So be very careful about this one. It can get very long and messy. Example D, we're going to do, again, the distributive property. That's 4m to the fourth minus 7m to the cubed plus 5m squared. Now I'm going to multiply 2m times everything, get 8m to the cubed. Again, m times m squared is m cubed, minus 14m squared plus 10m. Now I'm going to multiply negative 3 times everything, and that's negative 12m squared plus 21m, running out of room, so I'm going to have to write it right underneath, minus 15. Combine like terms. I don't have anything to combine the 4m to the fourth with. Negative 7m cubed and a positive 8m cubed is positive 1m cubed. 5m squared and a negative 14 is a negative 9m squared. And a negative 12 is a negative 21m squared. 10m plus 21m is 31m minus 15. Okay. Now this is a special product, a plus b quantity squared. What that means is there's two of them, a plus b times a plus b. And the long version would be to FOIL it out. The shortcut are these steps. Step 1. Square the first term. So it's a squared. Step 2, multiply the two terms and double it. So if we multiply these two together, that's 1ab. Double it gives you 2ab. And then step 3, square the last term. So let's do it with some numbers. Example 1a. I'm going to square the first term. So I'm going to square the 3x, and I get 9x squared. Step 2, this is the most important step that a lot of people miss. Multiply the two terms together. What's 3x times 5? 15x. And then what do I do with it? I double it. Double it means either multiply it by 2 or add it to itself. So 15x plus 15x is 30x. And then step 3 is square the last term. 5 squared is 25. And again, the long version would be just write it twice. 3x plus 5 times 3x plus 5 and do the FOIL method. And you would get the same answer. But we're going to do the shortcut for this section. Example 1b, square the first term. Multiply these two together. That's 24cd. Double it. Gives you 48cd. And square the last term. That's 9d squared. Example C. 1c, we're going to square the first term. Multiply these two together. That's 12xy. Double it gives me 24xy. And then square the last term is 16y squared. So I'm just write that 12xy. I'm a visual person. I kind of like to see it. Number 7 is the square of the difference. It doesn't matter if it's a positive or a negative. You do the same thing. You square the first term. Multiply these two together. Now that's 2x times a negative 5y, which is negative 10y, or excuse me, negative 10xy. Double it, gives you a negative 20xy. And then square the last term. Now be very careful here. When we square a negative 5y, when you square a negative, you always get a positive 25y squared. Example 2b, we're going to square the first term. Multiply these two together. That gives you a negative 6p. Double it, gives you a negative 12p. And then square the last term. Negative 1 squared is a positive 1. Your last term is always going to be a positive, because anytime you square a negative, you are going to get a positive answer. the product of a sum or difference. When you have two identical binomials, but one is positive, one is negative, what happens? Let's go ahead and FOIL this out and see what happens. We get a squared minus ab plus ab minus b squared. The two middle terms go away, so we get a squared minus b squared. So what happens is the two middle terms go away. So when you see two identical binomials, but one's positive, one's negative, you can refer to these as opposites if you'd like. You know that the outer and the inner is always going to go away. So could you skip that and just do first to last? Sure. So first, 2x squared times 2x squared is 4x to the fourth. And your last is a negative 9. If you do the entire FOIL, you will see that the outer and the inner go away. Example B, for B, these are identical, so I'm just going to do first and last. And for C, these are identical, except for the opposite sign, sorry. And so I'm just going to do first and last and get 16c to the second minus 49d squared. Again, if you're not sure about this and you want to do the entire FOIL method, you can. Here's your homework assignment. Now this is number 24. It says that the length is 6 feet and the width is 8 feet. And there is a sidewalk around the garden that is x feet long. So the total length would be this x plus this x, which is 2x, plus the garden, which is 6. For the width, it would be this x plus this x, which is 2x plus 8. To find the area of the garden, it is length times width. So that is 2x plus 6 times 2x plus 8, and then you would have to do the FOIL method.